Welcome to the shop. Hope you're having a great day. Alright, hopefully today we can finally get these handles epoxied on. I'm going to two-tone this one first, and then we'll see where we take it from there. Are you ready? Here we go. Welcome back. Alright, I gotta clear something up first. On my last video, if you watched it, the black oxide video, I said a quart of that was 30 bucks, but I went and checked and it's $47 for a quart. Now on Amazon, they have a kit that comes with the quart and 2 pints of sealer. And on the video I said the sealer is just penetrating oil, which it is, but if you watch that video, which I'll put the link up here, and down in the description I'll put the link to the last video, and the Amazon link so the channel can get a kickback. It's the same price, you're not paying anything more. If you noticed and you watched that video, I was spraying that penetrating on. The good thing about the penetrating oil in that kit is it comes in pints, so you can just paint it on and you don't have to get it everywhere. In fact, when I run out of this Caswell's, I'm definitely going to buy the kit. There's also a kit on there for like 99 bucks that comes with the cleaner and the sealer and all that stuff. If you click on the link to the Amazon in the description, you can choose all that stuff. In fact, there's a whole bunch of black oxide concentrates on there. Maybe you only want to buy a small bottle. Like I said, it's more expensive for a small bottle, but it'll give you a chance to try it. But man, that comes out real nice. I'm telling you what. Alright, let's get on this. Before we get on to epoxy in this, well, I want to two-tone this first without the handles on because I don't know how much of a difference it'll make. So I want this finished two-toned and ready, and then I'm going to tape it up. If you watch my 5160 chopper video, I made the mistake of starting to epoxy before I taped it. So now we know where our things are. And I'm going to put tape, blue tape here, you know, both sides, all of them. But first, we got a whole bunch of tuning. Like I want to put the holes in the handles. It'll be time lapse. I'm just going to take it to the drill press, put a drill in it, and just tap little holes. 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch, it doesn't matter. Just like these. That way, the epoxy can fill both of them and get it all done. Now, here is the big reason I don't epoxy my handles on. When I went back and I tuned this, you can see I brought this back a little bit, which means now this is coming over, which means I have to go to the grinder and take some of this off to make it all even up. I know I do a lot of processes and a lot of steps and all that, and I'm not like the other knife making tutorials where I do a whole knife in one video, but this shows you all the processes it takes to make knives. Now you won't be shooting the video, so instead of taking a month to make knives, it might take you like a week or 3 days or whatever. But I just want to show you the whole process so you don't get discouraged if you're like, oh man, why are these guys making knives in one video in 10, 20 minutes and I'm taking a week or 2 weeks or however long. And that's why I do all my parts. I said that in yesterday's live stream, which was Sunday. But anyway, I digress. This one looks good. I was going to two-tone this, but man, I really like that black oxide. I think I'm going to keep it black. Same with this. I really like that stonewash, so I'm going to keep it all stonewash. The only one I'm going to two-tone now, I've decided, is this one, and it's because the guy's going to be using it for hunting and fishing. I don't know how fair, you know, if he's in there and and he's gutting all these fish, and all of a sudden the ferret comes off and goes into his fish, it could poison them. I don't know. I don't know enough about ferret and food and all that, but I like to play my things safe. I'm going to tell him to oil it with mineral oil, which is food safe. That's what I put on a lot of my knives. Just light coats. What do we want to do first? Let's drill these out, and then we'll get to the grinder and do the two-tone and shape these up a little bit. We just have to bring them in. It looks like I need to do a lot of hand sanding on these just here. That's the one thing. You want to make sure all these are hand sanded to where you want to finish. It looks like I have to do it with all of them. This one's actually done. Because once you put them on the knife, you're not going to be able to touch here and there without messing up your finish. Enough talking. Let's get to the drill press. Time lapse. These are all ready to go. We got to go to the grinder and two-tone this and shave a little bit off this. But I just realized I have a huge, well, not a huge problem, but I got a problem. With silver, I got the 1/4 inch, which will fit perfect on all these, you know, bam. Now Chip is one of my subscribers, been for a while, and I was trying to tell him about making pins. If you don't want to buy pivots like this, that are already made for knives and stuff like that, you know, pivots that have 8/32 threads and all that, what you can do is if you find something tight enough, you can take this, put it in here, and cut your pins like this, and make your own pins. See how tight that is? And now you'd want to cut this side just small enough, and then you'd have it for there, and that would hold it together. And then you can always use these pins. See how that one's grabbing? See, like that? So it would, instead of having the pins that are already made out of pivots, you'd have these pins, and you can just keep them on the side to hold your knife. So you can always make pins yourself. I have a bunch of pivots because I always do removable scales, but they come in handy for holding knives and stuff together. That's just a tip. You can always make your own pins out of anything you want. I'm going to get this one all epoxied up after I two-tone it and all that. And if we have time, I'm going to throw this on the lathe and make it down to 1/4 inch so I can get the other two done. But over to the grinder, let's fix these up. Just going to put them together like we did in the other video, in the first video. So we're going to have to shave a little bit off of this just to make it look good. And then we're going to two-tone this. This is already up to like a 400 grit, so I'm just going to take a Trizac belt, one of my old Trizac belts, and smooth it on out. To the grinder. Since I took this up to a really high 400 grit, it's nice and smooth. So all we need to do is hit it on the Trizac. This is a 400 A45 Trizac. So we'll see how it looks after that. We might just stop with this. Remember, we got to hang the belt over. We got to get this all smoothed out. It should be fine since we got it all hit in with one belt. So we'll see how it looks. Now that I got all the black oxide off it, this is an older belt. I might have left that part out because I don't want to ruin a new belt with black oxide. I'll just put another belt on. Alright, brand new belt. Let's just clean this up real quick, hit it, and that should be it. Some WD-40 so it doesn't rust. High carbon steel likes to rust. So, yeah. Nice thin blade for when he's filleting things. Still got right here where it's swooping in. But that just means I'll have to bring the sharpening, when it sharpens it'll have to come up a little bit. Alright, so let's get everything prepped and ready for handles. Got the 200 grit belt. All we're doing is just taking a little bit off this and rounding it off. I'm going to actually do it on my vertical belt grinder just because I know a lot of you don't have a horizontal grinder, and when I'm doing handles I always do them on my horizontal, but we'll go ahead and tackle it here. Alright, back to the bench for the hand sanding. Alrighty, so let's put this aside. Let's put this aside. I got a lot of hand sanding to do. I want to start on this one. I'm just going to get all these sides taken care of. This is mostly flat, but I noticed this is a little black and has a sharp edge right there. So I'm going to start at 100 and go up to like 600 and make sure this is where I want them, because it's, you know, getting there is just not the way to do it. But since the last time I was hand sanding without a mask got me sick, I'm just going to do a time lapse and I'm just going to get all the fronts done. Now that the, you know, most of these are pretty much done. I just need to get the fronts done. Actually, let's check this one now. Ah, much better. Right where we want it. Yeah, man. Haha. That's going to look good. Closer, closer. Roll time lapse. Alright, fun times have come. Well, so what we want to do now, I've talked about this before, I have cheap calipers and I got good expensive ones. Time to break out the good expensive one to get precise measurements on this. Well, not precise, but you want to know, we don't want to cut our pins too short, but we don't want to cut them too long. So I'm going to add like an 1/8 inch. So it looks like we need 0.96 and yeah, 0.96 will be good. So here we go. Get a marker. I'm still gonna make it a little bit longer than that. 0.96. If you're gonna mark them like this, you always gotta include a saw blade. And we're gonna make them long anyway. Alright, I'm going to cut these on the bandsaw real quick, get these put away. Like I said, that's what my Amazon links are. Stuff like this, stuff like my cameras, any tools I use, the black oxide, all that stuff is down below in the Amazon links. Channel gets a little bit of a kickback, you don't pay any extra. Let's get these pivots out. Like I say, never hit right on the pins, because then you'll want to use the pins again and it gets them all deformed and all crazy like that, so it's good to just thread them and pull them out for later use. I'm going to go on the grinder and just round off these heads just a little bit so they'll slide right in. No burrs or anything like that. The easiest way to do that, put your pins, now you just want to hit the top of them. Now you're going to hit it on the grinder. I don't feel like setting up all the cameras, I'm sorry, but it's pretty easy to explain. You turn the grinder on, you just hit the heads and run it. and it slows it right down. Now I know what you're probably thinking. If you can do that with these pins, why don't you just do that with these to make them smaller? Because I want to, well, one, I need a lot of practice on the lathe, and two, I want to make these perfect, or as close to perfect as I can. So let's make sure these fit. Go through there. You might have to drill that one back out. A little tight on that side. See how we look on the front? Alright, we're just going to have to beat them in. We got them that far on each side. So let's see. Now comes the fun part. You got plenty of length there. You got plenty of length there. So I noticed Simple Little Life and this other guy's Self-Made Projects. I don't know where my blue tape is. I'll have to find my blue tape. So I found some. I think the only reason I have this is because I think I bought it at Walmart and it's not good at all. So this is old and don't want to work. And I want to save the good stuff for my blade. So back to what I was saying. Simple Life and this guy, Self-Made Projects, he has a channel on YouTube. He's actually the guy that won the first knife makers build-off, if you've watched my channel for a while. They put their epoxy on like this. They mix it here, and then that way they just peel it up. So I figured I'd give it a shot. I'm still going to put them on the parchment paper. Alright, let's hope we can get those pins in. I'm a little worried about it, but I think we'll get it. Like I say, sometimes people wear gloves for these, but I found when you're mixing epoxies and stuff and you wear gloves, it sticks to the gloves and then the gloves tear apart and it's just not worth it. So this stuff is on my Amazon links too, so I think it is. I'll have to go double check, but I'm pretty sure. If not, I can put it down there. Man, it smells like fish eggs. I'm only doing one knife, so I don't have to sit there and fussle and do a whole bunch of different things, so. Fussle, is that a word? Alright. Now, when you're doing epoxy like this, and you don't want to pour it, do not put this side of the, actually that's why, do not put the same stick that you put in the one glue on the other, or you'll just ruin your epoxy. Period. You don't want to be mixing epoxies. Until it's time. We have no wine until it's time. Anyone remember that commercial? Who shows their age here? Alright, let's mix it up till it's a nice white consistency. Nice even. That's one thing that sucks about stone washing everything first and all that and doing the black oxide, because I am going to have to sand all this stuff. But the thing is, I can just take a rag with some ferric on it and stuff and redo it. So shouldn't be too bad in that thing. But this is the best way I've found to do it. You know, you paint it on with the popsicle stick or whatever, and get it in. We can also peen the pins. This is just a basic holding place, so. Oh, I forgot that. I was going to tape up the blade. Darn it. Let's see if we can get it in. That's what, see, 1, 2, 3 blocks. Put it right in the hole. We're in. Right in the hole. These things are awesome for everything. Bam, we're good to go. Well, the pins are in, I should say. We still got to clamp everything down. But rubbing alcohol. I don't use 5-minute epoxy, so we have plenty of time. Wipe off the excess if we can. Then we're going to clamp it down. See, that's the only thing I like about doing epoxy handles more than I like doing removable scales, is any little deviant you can clamp it down and get it on there good. So the old clamp spin. Look at all that oozing out. There we go. Nice. Man, I keep poking myself, man. That's one sharp ass knife and it hasn't even been sharpened. Nice and tight. Bam. Now tomorrow all we have to do is cut these pins off and sand them down on the grinder, get everything even, hand sand it all up. I'm going to come back every 20 minutes or so and wipe this down. Try to get as much of the epoxy off as possible, especially up front here. You don't want any epoxy. But the few times, hey, man, look at that. Look how sharp that bitch is. I'm glad it isn't sharp pins. That's just the point. Good Lord. Man, that thing bit me. Damn you. The old love bite from your knife. That's how you know when your knife really cares. I'm gonna put some penetrating oil on it. Maybe the epoxy won't stick to that too. We'll just throw everything at it. Like I say, I don't do many epoxy handles, but I do know epoxy probably won't stick very good to the oil. Alright, yeah, see, I can feel what used to be the tightest is now giving, so it's coming out more and more. Spray it down with the alcohol. I mean, we're going to have to sand this out anyway, but it's good to get all the epoxy we can. Like I said, every 20 minutes, come down and check it, see how it looks. Bam! Ta-da! Oh! Whew. Now's the waiting game. Now we can just take this, throw it away. I like that method right there. That's nice. And then that's what we got to do for the next two. Bam. That's it. Like I say, if I have to sand anything out, then I will just come, put some Ferric on a rag and wipe it down to give it that look. So that's it for this part. Tomorrow I'm going to put the brass pins on the lathe and get that done. At least I know if I don't get anything more done or something happens, I'll have this stuff. I'm going to go edit it right now for Wednesday. It's Monday afternoon. So I'll see you in a second, but it'll be tomorrow for me. So we're back. Let's get this off. I wanted to save this for on the camera. See how it looks. Hopefully it'll be alright. Got a little bit of epoxy right there, but that's not too bad. Both sides, I didn't wipe that off. But, and right there too. Oh, well, that just came off. Good. Haha. Woo-wee. One thing I will show you, if you look right here, I took a peek. I didn't take the clamps off, but I did take a peek. I'll have to admit that. No epoxy right here. No epoxy right here. I came down like every 5-10 minutes and checked on it. And if I saw any epoxy, I wiped it off. No epoxy here. Oh, a little bit of epoxy there I missed. But that's alright. We can touch that up with Ferric when we sand it down. And a little bit here. But that's alright. Just a little bit of runoff. Oh, and that was under the clamp, so I probably missed that. But yeah, we're looking good. So now we just got to cut off the pins. One thing I did notice earlier, when this pin popped out, I must not have domed it right. Was it this one? Yeah. I didn't dome it enough. You can see it's still a little rigid, and it popped out a little bit of this. Some of the wood popped out, so I might have to sand that a little bit more and then sand this a little bit more. Well, I'm going to have to sand this a little bit more because this epoxy right here. That's why I always use the alcohol and all that and do all these extra steps. Because, man, look at all the time I saved. I don't have all that cleanup. I don't have all that craziness. Boom. We are ready to go. Yeah, man. So, let me go to the bandsaw and I'll cut these off. You know, you can grind them down on the grinder or whatever. Let me try the bandsaw first. The bandsaw doesn't work. And I'm going to take my time, and if I feel any resistance or any give, we'll just go over to the grinder and cut them off. I don't want to mess up this knife now that I'm this far ahead. So, boom. Yeah, man. I kept feeling something on my hand where it poked me yesterday, man. It got me. Alrighty. I don't think I'm going to get to these other two since I have to turn down these pins and all that. Maybe I'll shoot it or something and put it in another video. This is my main focus for now, so let's get to the bandsaw. So, two things I gotta say before I put my headphones on. I don't know why I call them headphones, but it works. When you're cutting these pins, when you're cutting anything round on a bandsaw, you gotta be careful. I didn't film it yesterday, but when you start putting it in there, the blade is gonna spin this around, and it's gonna want to pull it out of your hand, and it'll just make it rock. And so you gotta be careful and kind of compensate for that rolling until it catches, and just be careful. Be really careful with round stock when you're cutting on these, because it'll spin it right out of your hand, and you know, it can catch your finger in a blade, anything. Anytime you're using a bandsaw, you gotta be careful. You don't want to make sure if something goes wrong, it's not gonna pull your fingers. You know, I see a lot of guys cutting like this. There goes your thumb. I say it a lot, but when I was in, you can see I got little indents right there where I did that in 7th grade. Took a big old chunk out of my thumbs. Just be careful. Second thing is, all the grinder shots, I've been trying new camera angles, and both the camera on my chest and the camera above were garbage. I didn't set them up right. The one above me was on my head. My head was the whole shot. That's why there's only one shot on the grinding stuff. Alright, let's get to it. I wanted to get that out before I forgot. Alright, so this last one I'm going to do on the grinder. I don't want to cut into this wood or anything like that. So, we got it. Getting tighter and tighter. Alright, let's get to the grinder. Plus, I think this is the one, yeah, you probably can't see it on camera, but there's just a little bit where it flaked out, where it pushed through and caught. I need to dome my pins more when I push it through. But, alright, let's get to the grinder. Alright, so I think that's about it. I actually got about 10 or 15 more minutes of shaping the handle and hand sanding and a bunch of other stuff. Yep, I even put a time lapse of hand sanding. So I'll give you a little spoiler. This is what it looks like. Boom. Boom. This is only an 80 grit hand sand too, so I got a lot to go, but whoo-wee, man. It is feeling good. So I'll just have to put that footage in the next video, along with the handles for the other two knives and doing the lathe work for the pins and all that stuff. This was just a little sneak preview. Thanks for watching. I got shirts like this on my website, along with a couple knives and Amazon links to all the stuff you see me using and all the stuff you see me building with. So make sure to like it if you like it, dislike it if you don't. If you don't like it, leave a comment, tell me what we can do to improve, what you'd like to see out of the channel, or any of that stuff, or let me know how you make your knives or what you do different. Trying to build a community, so let's help each other out. Thanks for the support. Hope you're having a great day, and as always, take it easy.